I'm going, don't you dare correct me, or Brother Isaac, because I'm nothing. Don't you dare do that. Disrespect and presumptuous correction of leadership is not a light thing. Remember Peter did the same thing. Yeshua was telling them that I must die and I must go to the cross and do this. And Peter like, wait a minute, man, all these miracles we seeing you doing, you're going to be, let me get you straight. Don't say that. What are you talking about? Don't talk about you going to die and go to the cross. Let me check you, Jesus, Yeshua. What are you talking about? He correcting Yeshua. And he, like my brother said, get thee behind me, Satan. Too many of us want to correct leaderships. Too many of us want to correct our husbands. Too many of our children want to correct our moms, our dad. And we get an attitude, don't check me, check yourself. Okay, that's cute. The Father's very happy with that. And it has nothing to do with us being perfect. We know we're not perfect as men. That has nothing to do with it. Respect the position. I'm just a man. Y'all are just men. Y'all are just women. Children, respect the position of your mother and father. They don't have to be perfect, but respect the position. Oh, this is hard hitting today, huh? So Miriam thought it was her ordained right to check Moses, to check her baby brother, to get him straight. And we saw the father didn't like that. He said, wait a minute, let me tell you something, Miriam. Yeah, you hear from me and you get dreams and visions. But let me let you in on something. I talked to Moses face to face. Not in dreams, not in visions, face to face. Hallelujah. So get your mind right.
There you go.
Let me hit you with a little bit of leprosy. I don't like disrespect. See, y'all think it's cute? The father don't like disrespect. I'm going to let you in on something. He don't think it's cute. In this Western Gentile Babylonian society. It ain't cute. Stop it. All the sarcasm and disrespect. Stop it. Let me hit you with a little leprosy. He probably would have left out there a long time if Moses, humble Moses, didn't plead for it. And I'm telling you, Almighty Yahweh was hot. Your father should have spit in your face when he was a little girl. Whoo! That's harsh. Let me get off that. Let's go to Numbers, chapter 20. Now we're going to deal with Moses. Moses had labored with these folks all these years, pleading and crying. The father was going to slaughter every one of them, and he pleaded and cried, please don't do this thing. His whole life pleading and crying for Israel. And here's what happened to him. Well, brother, if you can read Numbers chapter 20, verse 1 through 13. We know the story. Moses is told to speak to the rock. That rock followed them all through the wilderness. That's how they got water. There's no water in the desert and in the wilderness. But that rock followed them through the wilderness. And we know that rock was Yeshua HaMashiach. And he's given an order to speak to the rock. Brother Shannon unraveled that for us. Verse 1 through 13.
It says, then came the children of Israel into the whole congregation and into the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abide in Kadesh. And Miriam died there and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moshe and against Aharon. And the people cried with Moshe and spake, saying, if only that we had died when our brethren died before Almighty Yah. And why have ye brought up the congregation of Almighty Yah into the wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And wherefore have ye made us to come up out of Egypt to bring us into this evil place? It is no place of seed, or of figs, or of vines, or of pomegranates, neither there any water to drink. And Moshe and Aharon went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces, and the glory of Almighty Yah appeared unto them. And Almighty Yah spake unto Moshe, saying, take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aharon thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and the beasts, and their beasts drink. And Moshe took the rod from before Almighty Yah as he commanded him. And Moshe and Aharon gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you out water out of this rock? And Moshe lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And Almighty I spake unto Moshe and Aharon, because ye believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them.
Verse 13.
This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with Almighty Yah, and he was sanctified in him.
Thank you, my brother. Humble Moses labored all his life, sacrificed his whole life. That wasn't an easy task, my brothers and sisters. Being burdened morning to night with the people's troubles. They're complaining, they're whining, they're murmuring. And they're seeing the miracles of Almighty Yah. They're seeing the pillar of cloud by day and the fire by night. They're seeing all them crossing the Red Sea, quails and manna. We'll never see anything like that. And they're seeing this visually and still murmuring and complaining. And Moses has to bear this. Then finally he breaks down. Like sometimes we'll do as a leader. Sometimes we'll lose it. We're human. Sometimes we get weak. And we have to do like David. We have to strengthen ourselves. Huh, my brother? Or sometimes a brother will strengthen us. Or a sister will strengthen us. But we need to be strengthened also. Because we don't want to make a tragic mistake and disrespect our leadership. And Moses here, in verse 12, in verse 11, because of the anger, it got the best of him. And he struck the rock twice when he was told to speak to it. You see, Yeshua only died one time. He's not going to die again. You know? So he did this disrespectful deed out of anger in front of all the congregation. And so Moses had to be checked by the Father. And he said, because you believe me not and fail to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, you will not cross over. And we know the Father loved Moses. Make no mistake about it. He loved Moses. Talked to him face to face like no other prophet. But you cannot disrespect leadership and be okay. It can't happen. Those of you who have been in the military, y'all know how this works. You may have a sergeant or a lieutenant that you don't like. You may think he's a bumbling idiot, but you can't approach him like that. You know, when you get in front of that lieutenant, yes, sir, or that sergeant, yes, sergeant, you may think he's a dummy, but you have to respect the position. What would happen if you go up to your sergeant and say, I don't hear what you got to say. I think you're stupid. Court martial, you can't do it. You cannot do it. Why do we come in the kingdom of Almighty Yah and think disrespect is okay? What is wrong with us? Western Gentile children, what is wrong with us? Disrespect is not a light thing. Brother Shannon, go to chapter 27 of Numbers and read verse 12 through 14. Poor Moses. His one big mistake, but it was a costly one. Sometimes we do things we can't take back. That's right. You ready, my brother?
It says, and Almighty Yah said unto Moshe, Get thee up into this mount, Abraham, and see the land which I have given unto the children of Israel. And when thou hast seen it, thou also shalt be gathered into thy people, as Aharon thy brother was gathered. For ye rebelled against me, against my commandment in the desert of Zin, in the strife of the congregation, to sanctify me at the water before their eyes. That is the water of Meribah in Kadesh, in the wilderness wilderness of Zin.
Moses labored his whole life to see this promised land, to lead the people over to the promised land. Oh yes, Almighty Yah still loved him. He loved them enough to show him, I'm going to show you the whole land. I love you, Moses. But I can't, my word is my word. I can't let you go over. But I'm going to let you see it. I'm going to let you see the land. And then in the final conclusion, I'm going to show you how Moses pleads to go into the promised land. Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23 through 28, Brother Shandon. But it's too late. The die is set. It cannot be changed. This mistake cannot be erased because it was done publicly in front of everybody. Go ahead, my brother.
And I besought Almighty Yah at that time, saying, O my sovereign, Almighty Yah, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand. For what else is there in heaven or on earth that can do according to thy works and according to thy might? I pray thee, let me go over and see the good of the land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain, and Lebanon. But Almighty Yah was wroth with me for your sakes, and would not hear me. And Almighty Yah said unto me, let it suffice thee. Speak no more unto me of this matter.
Whoo! Man. It was verse 23 through 28, Deuteronomy, the 3rd chapter. Oh, you're not going to go ahead, bro.
Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward and northward, and southward and eastward, and behold it with thine eyes, for thou shalt not go over this Jordan. But charge Joshua, and encourage him, and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which thou shalt see.
Whew. Poor brother Moses. Do you feel for him? Do you feel that in your heart for him? This brother wanted to go, BJ. He wanted to go, Tarnett, to the promised land. He had worked most of his life to see this come to fruition. But because of this public mistake of disrespect of a superior officer, publicly disrespect, he could not go. And the father said, speak no more unto me of this matter. You can cry, you can whine, it's not going to happen. But I'm going to show you the land. Let you see. I mean, his vision had to be 2030, 2040 to see that much land. See, Moses was still powerful and strong at age 120. It wasn't that he was about to die because he was feeble and old. The man was still strong and powerful like a 40-year-old. But he could not go. Disrespect is not a right thing. And we're going to wrap it up. I know you're happy. I know you're already to eat. We're going to wrap it up with David and Michal. David and Michal, the daughter of Saul. We all know that story. When David recaptured the ark of the covenant from the Philistines, and they're bringing this ark back into the land, and he's excited, he's dancing, he's praising. They got the ark back. There's joy. Let's find out what happens here. 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 13 through 23, Brother Shandon.